The giant banners of Britain's Got Talent fluttered outside the arena, shining under London's pale morning sun. Thousands of hopefuls stood in line, some excited, some trembling, some clutching their dreams like fragile glass. And among them stood 16-year-old Aria Bennett, her hands tightly wrapped around a worn-out sheet of lyrics, creases, tears, and faded ink telling their own story. Aria wasn't like the others. She wasn't excited. She wasn't even nervous. She was scared, truly scared. Her mother, Laura, squeezed her shoulders gently. "Sweetheart, breathe," she whispered. Aria nodded, but tears clung to her lashes. "Mum, what if my voice breaks again? What if they laugh? What if?" "No one will laugh." Laura's voice shook with unspoken pain. "Not anymore." 2 years earlier, Aria had been the rising star of her school choir, the girl everyone loved to hear. Teachers adored her tone, students cheered for her performances. But everything shattered one evening during the school's annual music festival. She stepped onto that stage, opened her mouth, and nothing came out. Her voice collapsed into a weak crackle. People stared. A few students snickered. Someone whispered loud enough for others to hear. She froze. I knew she couldn't sing live. The laughter spread like wildfire. And right there, under bright lights and mocking eyes, Aria's confidence died. From that day on, she never sang again. Not in the shower. Not in her room. Not even for her mother. But she still wrote songs. Lyrics, notebooks, melodies, she poured her pain into words she never spoke aloud. Back to present, BGT Arena. Standing in line, Aria looked around at the crowds, the cameras, the massive stage screens. Her heart hammered violently. "I can't do this." She turned away. Laura quickly grabbed her hand. "Aria, look at me." Her mother's eyes were full of tears she'd held back for years. "You survived heartbreak. You survived silence. You survived people who didn't believe in you. But singing is who you are." Aria shook her head. "What if I fail again?" Laura pulled her into a tight hug. "My daughter, the only failure is not trying." Something shifted in Aria's chest. A trembling breath escaped her lips. "Okay, I'll try." Inside the waiting area, the energy was electric. Kids practicing dances, bands tuning guitars, comedians rehearsing jokes. A camera crew approached her. "Name?" "Aria Bennett." "And what brought you here today?" She hesitated, then answered with brutal honesty. "I'm here to face the moment that broke me." The staff exchanged glances. This was a story worth filming. She waited for what felt like hours. Her legs trembled with every performer who came back crying or cheering. Her turn grew closer, and then, "Aria Bennett, you're next." Her stomach dropped. The stage, first footstep into light. The doors opened, blinding golden light pouring across the dark backstage hallway. She could hear the audience, thousands of people murmuring, laughing, chatting. She stepped onto the stage. Simon Cowell looked up first. He adjusted his glasses slightly, reading her form. "What's your name, darling?" Aria Bennett." She saw Amanda's warm smile, Alicia's encouraging nod, Bruno's bright expression. Simon leaned forward. "How old are you?" 16. "What are you going to do for us today?" I'm going to sing an original song." Simon raised an eyebrow. "Original. Interesting. Why this song?" She swallowed deeply. This was the moment. "Because, it's about losing your voice. And finding it again." The audience fell into a gentle hush. Simon nodded slowly. "All right, Aria. Take your time." Aria's fingers trembled as she clutched the microphone. The spotlight warmed her face, yet her entire body felt frozen. She stared at the sea of faces. At the judges' expectant gazes. At the cameras broadcasting her to millions. Her throat tightened. Her heartbeat felt like a trapped bird. She took a breath, but it caught. Her voice didn't come out. A few whispers spread through the audience. Some people leaned forward, ready for another, freeze moment. Aria's eyes filled with tears. Then she heard her mother's voice from backstage. "Sing, Aria. You're not alone." She closed her eyes. And then, she began. The first note, pure, fragile, haunting. Her voice was soft, trembling, like a wounded bird trying to fly. But it was beautiful, painfully beautiful. Lyrics spilled from her. "I lost my voice in the crowd. When the laughter got loud. When the world said I wasn't enough." The hall grew silent, utterly silent. As the melody climbed, so did her confidence. Her trembling voice grew stronger, purer, deeper. Tears rolled down Amanda's cheeks. Bruno pressed a hand to his heart. "My God," he whispered. Even Simon's stern expression melted. Aria reached the chorus, raising her voice into a soaring cry. "But I'm standing here again. I won't let the fear win. I'm singing even if my heart breaks." The audience stood up. A few people sobbed openly. The power of her voice filled every corner of the theater. She ended the last line with a soft whisper. "This time, I choose to be heard." The hall erupted. A thunderous standing ovation. Crowds screaming. Judges speechless. Aria stood frozen, tears falling freely. She had done it. She hadn't broken. She hadn't failed. She had reclaimed her voice. Aria covered her mouth in shock, overwhelmed by the roaring applause. Tears streamed down her face as the audience cheered louder and louder. Simon leaned back in his chair, his expression soft, thoughtful, moved. Alicia Dixon wiped her eyes. That was not just singing. That was healing. Amanda breathed shakily. "You sang with so much honesty, sweetheart." Every word went straight to the soul. But Aria was staring only at Simon. His silence scared her. His opinion mattered more than anything. Finally, Simon leaned forward. "Aria." His voice was quieter than usual, gentle, almost fatherly. "When you walked on this stage, I saw a girl who was terrified. But when you sang," he paused, "I saw an artist." Aria gasped softly. "You didn't just perform an original song," Simon continued. "You told your story. And it's a story the world needs to hear." The audience cheered. Simon continued softly. "And because of that," he glanced at his fellow judges. Amanda nodded. Alicia mouthed, "Do it." Bruno tapped the desk excitedly. Simon looked back at Aria. "I think this is the moment someone gives you back what the world tried to take." Aria's heart stopped. Simon slowly stood up. The audience sensed it. A wave of electricity swept the theater. Then, Simon pressed his hand on the golden buzzer. And slammed it down. The entire hall exploded into golden confetti. Aria's knees buckled as she fell to the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. Her mother rushed from backstage, wrapping her in her arms. They both cried together, years of pain, silence, fear melting away in one shining moment. The crowd roared so loudly it felt like the walls shook. Bruno jumped up from his seat. "A star is born. A star is born." Amanda cried openly. "That was one of the most emotional auditions we've ever seen." Alicia clapped above her head, shouting through tears. "She deserves this. She deserves everything." Simon stepped onto the stage, brushing confetti from his suit. He approached Aria gently. She looked up at him with terrified, grateful eyes. Simon smiled softly. "You don't ever hide that voice again. Understand?" Aria nodded, sobbing. "Yes, yes, I won't." He placed a hand on her shoulder. "Your life just changed." Aria sat with her mother in a small interview room, confetti still stuck in her hair. A camera crew surrounded her. "How do you feel?" a producer asked. Aria laughed through tears. "I feel like I finally found myself again." Laura hugged her tightly. "I'm proud of you. So proud I can't breathe." Aria whispered. "My voice, it's mine again." Within hours, her audition clip went viral. Millions of views. Thousands of comments calling her an angel, a survivor, a star. People who had suffered broken dreams felt hope again. Kids who had been bullied found courage in her song. Parents shared the clip, saying, "This made me cry." Aria had not sung for fame. She sang for freedom. And it freed millions. Aria sat in her hotel room, staring out the window at the glowing London skyline. Her mother slept on the couch, exhausted from the emotional whirlwind. Aria whispered to herself, "Dad, I wish you saw this." Her father, a musician himself, had passed away when she was 9. He was the one who taught her to sing. The one who believed she had a voice worth sharing. She clutched the locket he gave her, inside, a picture of them playing piano together. "Dad, I did it." A soft breeze brushed her cheeks. It felt like a blessing. The lights dimmed. The music started. Aria stepped forward with a calm she had never known before. This time, she wasn't the broken girl. She wasn't the scared child. She was a singer, a storyteller, a survivor. Her voice soared stronger, clearer, braver than ever. The audience cried again. The judges rose again. And Simon looked at her with pure admiration. Aria had become a symbol of strength. A month later, Aria sat in front of a camera for an interview that would go viral worldwide. What do you want to say to people who feel like giving up? The host asked. Arya smiled, soft, brave, glowing. I want to tell them. Your voice is yours. No one gets to take it from you. Not fear. Not humiliation. Not failure. Not the world. She looked directly into the camera. If the world breaks you, sing anyway.